the franchise wanted to really go in too much during the competitive process of Drag Race, of talking about trans identity and things like that. And that is something that, like, I wanted to speak about, because that's what I was going through in my life in that time, and I felt safe. That was the safest place I could think of, and I felt like it was something that I wanted to have a conversation that I didn't have to see on TV. And I promised myself that I would try to be the person that I needed on TV for someone else. I needed to have that conversation. And although it didn't make it to my confessionals on the season, I was really happy that they gave me an opportunity to, basically come out as trans on the reunion part of the show. And because of that, I think it was like a snowball effect with a lot of trans conversations. For a lot of people, I was the first trans person they ever saw on TV. Apparently, I am the first person on any reality show to ever come out as trans. So I thought that was pretty cool. Before there was a Caitlyn Jenner and a Gigi Gorgeous and Eden and Nikita Dragon and so many other trans people, we had very few far in between trans representation. So anyway, I'm glad that it happened when it did. Social media didn't have as big of a presence as it does today, and it gave me an opportunity to kind of like go off and get comfortable in my transition, so to speak. Yeah, Amanda Lepore, she's incredible. Love her.
And Jim starts to laugh. It's like, oh my God.
Oh, I got it. By Marion Hill. I love them.
It was exhilarating, by inviting me to that meeting.
Thanks. I feel like I'm always telling these stories all the time. People love to hear. They love to hear the stories. But the thing is I always say that me being transgender is like the least interesting thing about me. I did get to meet Erica Andrews before. Yeah, some people make their transness their whole identity. That for me, I just wanted to live my life as a girl. I don't want to live my life as a trans woman. I mean, it is a fact, but like, I don't want to focus so much on me being able to feel comfortable in my own skin and go in and live in life in the best way that improves my life, that doesn't hurt other people. I think sometimes that we have a problem in today's world that everyone's in such a rush to reap the rewards of, or the privileges of something that the work hasn't been done for. It's like a paid advancement, so to speak, and it's confusing to people because transitioning is a lot of work. There's a lot that goes into it. There's a lot of personal work, and there's like a lot of outside work that goes into it. And I feel that there is a lot of situations where people are forcing who they are on people in a sense, and they don't even fully know themselves yet, but they want everyone else to be aware of who they are when they're still trying to figure out who they are. And it just seems like very, very sensitive generation. And wanting the credit for work you haven't done yet. And I'm not gatekeeping anybody from anything, but there's a lot of work that goes into actually transitioning from one place to another. You know, you can't go to college to be a doctor and not put in the work and then expect to get, you know, the recognition of being a doctor. You know, it just doesn't work that way. And the outside world, they're gonna see what they see, you know, and you're gonna feel what you feel. But if it's important to you for people to see you the way that you feel, then it's your responsibility to put in the work to be the person you want people to see. And if you want your life to be but at least if you put the effort and the work into it first, people can recognize the effort and they can respect the effort. But if you force things down people's throat, chances are they're not going to enjoy taking it in. No matter how good it could be, that's how I always felt. I always say, oh, I love cheesecake. But if someone was to force feed it down my throat, chances are I'm not going to enjoy it. So we need to make those conversations more enjoyable for people who don't understand or are ignorant to it, to give them an opportunity to want to listen, to take in what we're saying, and figure out ways to get it out in a way that someone can understand. It doesn't mean that it's going to work for everyone. And everyone's different. All people are different, whether you're trans or cisgender or whatever. Everyone's different. So you can't judge one trans person and assume that they're all the same way. Just like you can't do that based on color or religion or whatever. You know, that's why I try not to ever speak for like the trans community, is because nowadays it's such a wide range of what it could mean or be or whatever. And in my opinion, you know, it may be different than some people. But if that's how you feel and that's how you think, then that's how you feel and that's how you think. And I can only represent myself at the end of the day. And I don't see myself as a trans woman. I don't even see myself as like a woman. That's how I present to the world is female, you know? And I'm very aware of how I was born and where I come from and all of that. And I don't think that I'm the same kind of woman that like my mother is. Like, I'm very aware of that and I'm okay with that. And I think like when we say things like trans women are women, I get what people are saying, but we also need to recognize that we are a different kind of woman. But the world can see us as women too. But when it comes down to the biological, you know, our bodies and things like that, we are different, and that's okay to be different. I think why would I want to be just like everybody else in that aspect, you know? Like, I'm aware that I wasn't born with like ovaries and a vagina, and I didn't go through certain experiences that like my mother and my sister went through, you know? But there are so many other things that we can relate to as far as like womanhood goes through, how the world treats us, how the world sees us. Because that through in life are real, and that's how we can bond. And I remember when I first started taking my estrogen and everything like that, I felt more a connection with my emotional side, which I think is a very feminine or female thing. And I think you know, when I was talking to one of my girlfriends, and she was talking about like when she goes through her periods and stuff like that, and like how emotional she gets and stuff like that. There were parts of, you know, that rush of the estrogen coming through my body that made me like, you know, I would laugh at something and cry immediately. It just made me so emotional. But it's not the same thing as having a period. We just have emotional like peaks and valleys that we can relate to with women. So, hi, hello. I hope that I'm not losing you guys. I'm all over the place with my conversation today. Start out with just me doing makeup, talking about Drag Race, and then end up talking about trans people. But I think that what's ended up happening is everybody wants to tell their version of what they think it is, and these people who are clickbait, who stick out in a way that maybe the idea of what people who are scared already like envision what a trans person is or whatever. These people are the ones that are getting fed into our algorithm, however you say it, and they're not true representation of what a part of us is. There are some people that do just exist in life without needing, you know, to document every single fucking thing we do.
They basically said if Sherry was still on the project, they would pull the
but it is, I think it's also kind of cool that people want to share their life.
Because he was so uniquely
You also have to realize
involved with
that a lot of people that do it, they're aware that they want to get people's attention.
I was a little tense.
And sometimes in order to get people's attention, you have to do these like over the top things. You have to look over the top. You have to say these crazy words to get people to click in. You know, and I think what's ended up happening is people are so self-absorbed and obsessed with the attention that they get from social media and whatever, that they're willing to make a mockery and a fool out of who we are as people just to get likes and love, and it puts a real effect on the community as a whole, even though like it started out as just entertainment purposes, and it really is, but people are taking these entertainment like clips to heart because sometimes they mix like real issues in with it.
Yeah.
And then, you know, maybe somebody might run across it that don't know what trans is.